Hey guys, so giving credit where credit is due, if it is indeed the truth. See, it's not all bad here now, is it? So, rumor: Assassin's Creed Shadow was delayed because game is buggy. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows was delayed, and people were wondering why. The company was like, "Oh, well, the features are there. We're just working on things." Never really explicitly said what things they were. Um, but the game was saying they said that the game will be released February 2025, which seems like a long time. It's only a few months away. We're actually pretty much the end of September. So yeah, so October, November, December, January, February. Yeah, 5 months. But so if the game is indeed buggy, then you know credit where credit is due. In an age where companies release games when they know full well that they're not ready to go out. Back when I was a kid, when you bought a game, it was finished. We didn't have patches, we didn't have updates. We didn't have server shutdowns to, to do things for maintenance or anything. No, we had games that you bought from the store. You popped them into the console, and you played them, and they were finished. Were there sometimes glitches? Of course. Most of the time, glitches were beneficial. If anyone remembers the missing no trick, the missing no glitch in Pokemon, where basically you can get like infinite rare candies and infinite master balls. So there were glitches, but nothing game breaking for the most part. Even crap like Quest 64 and stuff like that, while the game felt like it was undone, there was really nothing in there preventing you from playing it. But nowadays, it's like, oh yeah, sorry, no one can enter the game or talk to anyone or hand in any, quests or, obtain items or progress with the story. But it's okay. We'll apply a patch and update within the next couple of days. Until then, have fun. Um, but kudos to them. Kudos to them if this is indeed the truth of why they're doing it. All right, a new rumor claims that Ubisoft delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows 3 months from its original planned release date in November 2024 to February 2025 because the game is buggy. Ubisoft announced that it was delaying Assassin's Creed Shadows to February 14th, 2025, earlier this week ahead of a trading call updating its financial targets. Um, In a press release, the company announced Assassin's Creed Shadows will now be released on 14th February 2025. While the game is feature complete, the learnings from Star Wars Outlaws release led us to provide additional time to further polish the title. It added, "This will enable the biggest entry in the franchise to fully deliver on its ambitions, notably by fulfilling the promise of our dual protagonist adventure, uh, Naoe and Yasuke, bringing two different gameplay styles. Furthermore, it shared we are departing from the traditional season pass model. All players will now be able to enjoy the game at the same time on February 14th as those who pre-order the game, and will be granted the first expansion for free. It concluded the game will mark the return of our new releases on Steam day one." Now, a new rumor from Brazilian YouTuber TVPH claims the reason the game was delayed was because it was buggy. In the above video, he explains using Google's auto translate function. The problem that is going on inside is a very simple one. The game is buggy, which is something that is traditional to Assassin's Creed series, right? Especially when they were making this transition in internal technology. Assassin's Creed Unity was very dramatic. Assassin's Creed Origins also had a lot of problems at the same time, problems at the time of launch. And Assassin's Creed Shadows also offers a change of internal technology within the game that will most likely causing these bugs. So it's not a completely new thing, right? A buggy launch of Assassin's Creed, but there's a very marked difference in the days of Unity, in the days of Origins. Ubisoft was safer. Ubisoft was calm. But in September 2024, Ubisoft, Loft Wings, they're just gonna fly off to the sky with the game and take it to a better place, to the land of the goddess herself. And there, under her grace, Ubisoft and the game will live in peace and under the protection of Goddess Hylia, where they will remain for all time, undisturbed. And um, where was I? Had launched and seen Star Wars Outlaws flop, which was a game that they expected would completely explode into being one of the biggest titles of the year. And from the looks of it, it sold just okay. It sold like the least Star Wars game should sell when there's no public interest in it, right? And part of the problem was that the game was completely bugged. Yeah, I mean, even after it was fixed, there's still things going on in it. Ubisoft has Ubisoft have even had to apologize to the fans and promise that they are working on urgent fixes for performance problems on all platforms. While his inside sources at Ubisoft claimed the reason for the delay is due to the game being buggy, financial analyst Valiant Renegade speculates that the delay had to do with the company attempting to break even before the end of its fiscal year. Still alive, but I'm barely breathing. He explained once Ubisoft canceled their worldwide press events, even pulling out the pulling out. That's something they know all about. Out the massive Tokyo Game Show, the writing was on the wall that AC Shadows was going to be pushed back. Ubisoft obviously saw what was coming, and that was likely a serious underperformance of sales upon the game's initial release date target of November 15th. Ubisoft says the next 90 days will afford them time to polish the game, but they also seem desperate to release it before the end of the fiscal year on March 31st, 2025, as profitability guidance has concurrently been adjusted down, with the game maker being basically hoping to maybe break even on the year. Valiant Renegade added. He concluded, "It's a total mess right now." I'm falling to pieces. But yeah, if that is indeed the truth of it, we just don't want to put out a buggy game, good on them. You know, you have games that are AAA titles, big name games. They come out buggy as hell. You can't play it. You can't do anything. Game lags. And it's sad that these games, it's like you have overpaid staff to test these things before the games launch. How is it that something like World of Warcraft or any MMO that has a PTR that allows players to test all this stuff and find bugs, how is it that they're better at finding these things than an overly paid staff that's what they're paid to do? And again, when we were kids, when I was a kid, I mean, I say we were kids, but some people might be watching who didn't grow up in that era. But yeah, when we were kids, when I was a kid, when we got a game, you popped it in, boom, it was done. There was no updates, there was no patches, there was no DLC, there was no expansion sets. It was just the game finished. Now there were some games where you could, there was online connectivity and stuff like that, but it really didn't affect. Like I think was one of them, like Super Smash Brothers and stuff. You could connect to online. I think Pokemon Stadium you could, but you had to have like a special hookup and stuff like that for it. But other than that, it was the stuff online was used mainly for playing online with people, um, special events, getting special, items, stuff like that. This whole thing of, the game's buggy and you can't play it, and every time you try to boot it up, it crashes. We're gonna have to apply a patch. This whole DLC and updates and patches and this and it just didn't happen when I was a kid. When a game came out, it was finished. So, but yeah. Don't look at me, I'm buggy. You're just wishing that her Grace Hylia comes down and takes him away to a better place. In in a realm beyond sight, the sky shines gold, not blue. You're like, oh, great goddess Hylia. Please. Um, yeah, I mean, good on them. I mean, I don't think it's really going to help very much. I think the damage has already been done. So, great, you're gonna release a game that's not buggy and it's more polished and finished, but I don't think that's going to help. I I, I think the damage has already been done. The fact that the company clearly didn't really care about Japanese culture or heritage. The fact that, it's like, oh, don't like it, don't play it, stuff like that. The damage is already done. They could release the bestest, most polished game in the world. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. So, but good on them. Good on them for trying to do that again in an age where people just release games. Also, indie games. Like, indie games are like usually a very, very small group of people. How is it that indie developers are able to create a more solid, polished game than these freaking major companies that produce AAA games? It's incredible. It just kind of shows the difference between big companies and small developers and, the fans. The fans know that we're not going to release it until it's good and ready. While you have these AAA companies like, oh, seems good to me. But what about just, I don't want to hear it. Just release it. We'll update it with a patch or something. Just hopefully no one gets to that part notices. So, but yeah, that's the apparently the rumors about why it's being delayed. Whether it's true or not, I really don't care. I don't think anyone cares at this point because again, it's just little little too late. Too little too late. The damage for the game has already been done. They've already pissed off enough people to where the sales for this game are just not going to be great. When you piss off an entire country, yeah, that's yeah. You're not recovering from that. And then not only do you piss off the country with the game itself, then you release a collectible which disrespects them even more. So, at least the tens of people that are going to play the game, at least it's going to be a polished, finished game. Yay! Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.